Maybe you have seen it already. My book Hands-on Mobile App Testing is available in the second edition. If you'd like to know more about the book, follow this link. If you have any kind of questions to the book, let me know. And if you'd like to support me, get the book and learn everything about mobile testing. Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Software Testing. My name is Knott, and I'm happy that you're here today. In today's video, I have another interview for you, and this time it's all about IoT testing. What is special about IoT, what challenges are coming with IoT testing, and what tools you can use in order to test for IoT devices. So make sure to follow up the video to the very end to get some insights from Rahul and Vijay, and enjoy the video. Hi, Rahul and Vijay. Nice meeting you and nice having you on my YouTube channel today. How about we start with a quick introduction about yourself to my audience? Rahul, you would like to start?
Yeah, so thanks, Daniel, for inviting us. I'm Rahul Parwal. I'm a senior software engineer with IFM Engineering, and I am involved into testing IoT-based systems and other devices and embedded-based testing. Today I'm here with my colleague, Vijay, who is also my teammate. So hi, Vijay.
Yeah, so excited to be here talking about IoT and experience about my test automation and testing in IoT world. Maybe I introduce myself. Been working with for 15 years. I've been working as a software engineer, doing development, line of business application, desktop applications, Windows as well as Linux, industrial automation, domain, computer vision, and machine learning with all of that. I love embedded devices and I love those challenges of the constraints they provide. I love Agile, I love TDD, pair programming. For the past, say, 3-4 years, I've been doing testing for the IoT products we have in our company, IFM.
Thank you. Thanks for the introduction. So yeah, I mean, one of the first questions that I have to you both is like, why do you think IoT testing is so special, and what makes it so special?
I can go first. It's for me. What I say is coming from my experience. From my experience of what we do with the product we have at IFM. So it's basically about when you are doing testing for IoT, it is about communication protocols, MQTT, OPC, CAN, serial, Bluetooth, HTTP, WebSockets and stuff. So you are working with those communication protocols often. You work with devices which have various hardware capabilities, very constrained to almost full power desktop devices, PC power devices. So these are challenges which I love, but that makes it special. More than that is about IoT as an industry is still nascent. So the bleeding edge also provides its own chaos and its own challenges, and that makes it interesting. And also when you work with IoT, it's about two things talking to each other. So there are multiple devices, and the scenarios that grow up with that becomes interesting with respect to scalability. So yeah, that's so many things.
Yep. I think Vijay summed it up pretty much, but if I have to summarize in 2 to 3 points, first, it's the fusion of hardware and software. I mean, there has been specific hardware testers that I've met. People who have been testing who do purely software. There is a great work that is going on in purely hardware and purely software. But this is an interesting fusion. And this gets more interesting because of the different possibilities of network communication over HTTP, Bluetooth, CAN, OPC, and so on and so forth. And this makes it pretty interesting. The possibilities are huge. And based on the different kind of devices, the possibilities change. Of course, I mean, for some cases, you can even exclude the devices, you can mock them and do a pure software-based, simulation-based kind of IoT testing. But for system testing or for, really seeing that are the software systems working and integrating perfectly with the hardware, I mean, you have to check at both the layers, and that's pretty interesting and kind of a special thing of the IoT domain. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I can highly relate to mobile testing, which is my field of interest, right? I mean, it's also pretty special. You have the devices and the software combinations. But when I think of IoT, I think for me it's even more challenging and more complex because you have more different kinds of devices, right? If we take it mobile, it's just a smartphone or tablet or any other device that is running on a mobile operating system. But with IoT, you have also different industries that you work with, right? Where sending data from sensors, like I don't know, somewhere in the woods to a backend system or about the temperatures or something like that. So this is actually what I think it's really special for IoT as well. And this also leads me to my next question, which is like, what do you see like are the current main challenges for IoT testing? So what do you think are the biggest challenges to overcome? And maybe you have also a solution in place that you can recommend.
As we already as I already said, that there are multiple protocols, and you have to pick up the knowledge of so many protocols, and there are embedded devices which we are being given the latest prototypes. So these the data spec sheets, we have to pick them as you go. That's challenging. You have to keep on learning about these protocols and devices, what they offer and what they can't do. You have to work. The test setup is a challenging thing because not every time do you have available these latest prototypes of embedded devices which you want to work with. With respect to our IoT APIs, we have the API which you have to work on these devices. So you may not have those devices in a distributed setup, may not reach you in time. So you have to manage this remote test setup, and that is a challenge for a team which is distributed. We have to manage sharing it, manage those multiple test scenarios, and it may also have power and on off, and it makes it more complex. So these are challenges I have experienced while I did IoT testing.
Okay.
I think, Vijay covered it pretty much all. From the perspective of what we have been facing in our IoT related testing work. The interesting possibility or a challenge or an opportunity this IoT testing gives is that the development of relay-based automated programmable on-off systems. I mean, if somebody wants to really automate a workflow and if there are devices involved. So for example, now if we talk about a mobile phone, that's a kind of a smart device. But I want to talk about a controller or a sensor. And suppose there is a need for a scenario where you have to turn off or turn on a device. And that now that is part of your entire software flow. And maybe you need a hard reset. Maybe there is no soft reset for that. And for that, you have to automate at a hardware level now. Rather than a software level. So thinking on those lines, so when I will talk about my experience, I started my career from an insurance testing background. I was into insurance, which is a pure software and a different kind of model. When I came to the IoT world and embedded devices, I could not easily visualize automating of the hardware and the processes and relay boards and all. So this was one challenge, but yeah, with the right tools and right expertise, experience, these can be handled. Yes.
Okay. I have a tooling question later on, but when I think of like the challenges, it's like also for me, it's the end-to-end flow, right? Like how to automate or how to test an end-to-end scenario. I think this is really challenging, right? Especially if you have the different devices, the different networks, and as you said, like also if you have to do something on the hardware side of things. Is there anything that you can recommend people or like the audience now that how to tackle those challenges? If is it maybe one solution to cut it into like pieces, focus on the device with mocking it somehow, and then later on test the device itself? Or do you focus then on the APIs, on the protocol level, or is there also a way of combining everything together? Or do you say it's that this is manual work that needs to be done? So can you say something about that?
Yeah, I believe in these 3-4 years, I've worked with this bleeding edge product we have, and IoT as a nascent industry is still growing. We don't have standards yet. It is, I can say, a kind of a chaotic growth phase right now. So I feel what I feel personally is the team is your asset. The team and the communication you have in your team, if that is strong, that is vibrant, that is healthy, you can go somewhere with your products in IoT. Otherwise, it can be challenging because you may not anticipate what are the changes coming, and if it's not communicated in the team well, especially the distributed team, as I said, that the testing happens in India or in Poland or wherever we do. And we have our team in Germany, Poland, India. If that is so, then the communication is excellent, and we have our own rapport with each other. That makes it we are wherever we are now. I think it is because the communication we have. We embrace this, the unknown. It's you will not have very clear specification because you may not know what's next for the customer, what are the pain points of the customers, and we have to go with that first. And we as at the same time we are looking at where we are going as an industry. We have at IFM we have our own protocol which we are trying to make it open source and help industry as such. So it's challenging with the chaos. Communication is an asset of your team. Okay. In that way, agile also helps. If you work with the team in an agile sense, I think that helps because you work on small, smaller sprints or small features or few features at a time, and then that helps to reduce the chaos a bit. So agile, in my opinion, helps. Other than that, I think, yeah, you have to work with network protocols, devices. That is sure. You have to do that. You have to embrace that as well.
Answer one of the question that Daniel asked, that how should one strategize, unit more or considering the devices more, or end-to-end system flows more? And to my experience, I mean, there won't be one generic answer for everybody, but I would like to share 2 to 3 contexts. In certain cases, the device software is also getting modified parallelly while you are doing the system level or application level interfaces are changing. So basically, if we see it as a front end and a back end, if both are changing, maybe it's a good idea to simulate the device based on the protocol and test it out so that you are sure of your features. Also, I mean, testing everything on the device is anyhow not possible. I mean, that's expensive. That's a very expensive testing. And expensive not only from the point of view of the cost involved in that, but more from the time that it is going to take, because devices respond in a specific time at a specific rate, and they work on that way. But at the same time, I mean, end-to-end tests are really important. I mean, because they are the reality. I mean, the end to end is what the customer or the use case is going to use. So they are there, but we can see it like a pyramid. Try to check more at a unit level with mocks, without mocks, and if we have the device ready, I mean, with the firmware and all, very good. I mean, test out some things there, and get ability to get faster feedbacks can help a lot. I mean, the CI systems, if you can really check things quickly, that helps. I mean, so yeah, that's something I wanted to add.
Okay, thank you. And what would you recommend someone who would like to get into IoT testing? Is there any particular skill that he or she should have, or what would you recommend?
Yeah, excellent communication. As you know, there are no specification, or it's always in chaos, or it keeps evolving. So communication is number one skill for anyone getting into IoT. Apart from that, I feel, now that's very opinionated, I feel white box testing, that is also the good programming ability. That I think that is required, because you will be reading a lot of code, and that will be the real documentation for you. It will help you solve many things as part of communication. So that is ability to read code, programming ability. That is, I feel it is my opinion. Okay, you have to get dirty in IoT with the APIs. I think that's why you should go by yourself into the code as well as the spec sheets of those devices. So this is required. Mocks, as rightly said by Rahul, and also you have to mock out the devices. It will make your test setup fairly easier, and the test automation can fairly proceed smoothly. And you have mocks, or also there are device simulators they provide when you have popular devices from popular device makers. So if there are simulators or emulators, you can use that. It also helps the development as well as testing, the test automation, I mean. So mocking surely helps. That's a skill set to emulate a device. It could be helpful. DevOps, of course, if you have DevOps, that CI and DevOps ability, which you have to go pick up maybe as you go, but that will help you free flow the device, the test setup, which has so many devices and power cycles and stuff like that. So it will help there if you know CI and DevOps. And as I already said, the protocol specification. We are working with 4 or 5 protocols, and if there's some issue you can fix it by reading more about those protocols. You will not get easy answers on the forums for that. So spec are the place where you may get answers. Once I attended a network security guy who had a interview with them, or he was there coming in as external speaker in our company. I found out that that's good way. If we can get consultation from the network security aspect, it also helps the product which we are developing, helps to better test the IoT products from the network security perspective. So that will also be helpful for someone being in the IoT testing or entering into IoT testing. One thing I have done, which I want to do, and now it starts here, like connecting with both of you, is participating in events for IT industry. That helps each of us mutually. That I think that is one thing which I want to do. I haven't done that. I'm starting to do that. As a community, we should be connecting, helping mutually each other, because some problems may be common for all, and we could really help there with other perspectives. And solutions. So yeah, those.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, Vijay covered it. 3 points. Great tech skills. I mean, strong tech foundations, basically good testing skills, foundational testing knowledge, and I mean, openness or embracing the uncertainty. Or I mean, if because what I see this question is that if somebody wants to shift to IoT testing, and most probably they are into some pure software-based testing or some kind of API or so. So I mean, embracing the devices. I mean, not fearing the devices and protocols and all. So that helps. Yeah.
Yeah, that was also my thinking when I was thinking of like IoT, like what's special about it. It's like, for me, it's from the outside. I mean, I have never worked with IoT devices so far, is that it's a technical job, right? I mean, you have to connect to a device via terminal, for example. So there might be some script knowledge that should be there. So programming skills, I think, is definitely a must. And so this makes the picture for me clearer. So anybody out there who would like to go into IoT is learn a programming language, get familiar with APIs, and then also read about devices, right? I mean, the different IoT devices that are available. Nice. Talking about more the software tool that you would like to recommend for IoT testing. Is there anything specific that you think that is worth taking a look at?
Yeah, we have used Postman a lot. We have used Wireshark to their troubleshoot devices when they are out of network. We don't know why the hell they are out of network and not detectable. We use clients which the protocol, there are protocol clients which are provided like Modbus or OPC clients. We also use them to see if products are working fine and comply. XML, JSON, YAML, those things form the settings of many devices nowadays. So you have some nice tools. If you have syntax highlighting and nice support for those, it helps. And of course, I love this to say this, that we have to make your own tools for exploratory testing as you go. There is no every product of IoT could be different. They may require a slightly different way of testing. So maybe you'll not have tools. So you have to make few for yourself, as the case may be. So yeah.
So in addition to what Vijay said, I mean, a couple of things which I found very helpful. First, understanding of containers, Docker or something. I mean, so that if you have to containerize test, that's possible. Second is the understanding of relay boards. I mean, or are they? I mean, these are all hardware setups, so that you can configure your device setups easily, or maybe the ability to extend them. That's a very useful skill. And third useful, like as you said, I mean, there are certainly a lot of possibilities where you have to run things on a command line, or maybe on a device which doesn't have a UI or anything.
Exactly.
And command line tools, or I mean, small commands basically, or shell scripts or small. These are helpful. I mean, these are very underrated, but very useful. I mean, if you know how to play around with them.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's what I also had the experience with when working with mobile, that like having a shell script, a shell scripting knowledge is helpful, because you can easily connect to a device, send some command, and especially put the device in a specific state that you need the device to be for your testing activities. So yeah, that's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
great.
It gives a lot of workflow also. I mean, even if there is a UI in a device, there are always some kind of a commands through which you can set some specific state or reboot or anything. So it saves a lot of time too.
Yeah. Okay, cool. There's also one question that just pops to my mind is like, did you guys find any like funny or crazy bugs while doing IoT testing? Was there anything that you said, okay, that was funny, or that was curious, we haven't expected that to be? Or is there anything that comes to your mind?
I had one experience where I was testing, and because of certain incompatibilities, and we were doing a very minor kind of operation, very basic. That is expected. That's kind of the default use case. But because of certain gaps between the application layer API and the device layer, the device totally went broke. And then they had to really reconfigure it at a hardware level. And that moment I realized, how important these interactions are. That maybe both were working, both were, unit tested perfectly fine, and you integrated and you did a specific scenario and added a couple of weirdness to the scenario, and then this happened. So this was one thing. And the critical part was that I wanted to reproduce that what happened to this device, and when I reproduced, second device again got broke. And then when somebody has to reproduce to fix it, third, fourth, so
it's interesting. Yeah, side effects, these are usually strange. I also found them usually when doing some weird things with mobile device. Running around or putting device in plane mode, for example, and see what's going to happen. Like all the side effects, as you mentioned, that can interfect or that can affect basically the device that you have. And I especially think IoT is even more complex here, thinking of the outside temperatures or the location of the device itself, where it is. It can have a huge influence on the results. No, thanks for sharing. Or Vijay, you have also something in mind that you would like to share.
Yeah, I have. We have IoT Core implementations. The IoT protocol which we have is a spec we implement for multiple device categories, we could say, based on the hardware capabilities they have. So the more able the hardware is, the more use cases that are provided from the IoT protocol spec we have. So we have C# implementation, we have C++ C implementation, and they cater to different hardware capabilities, which means more use cases on the C# side and less use cases or very basic but use cases, but looking at the performance side or the constraints of the device, those are on the C++ C implementation. But then keeping those implementations aligned, it can be challenge. Especially when we started with C++ implementation, which was already in the market with few devices. And then when we started with C# implementation, which had more use cases, it had more abilities, and it came up with a new version, which had so many things it could do. And then we looked back what is in the market. So we had nice, interesting interactions hey, that is a silly thing we had earlier, and now we want to do a very new, in a new, better way, but we can't do it because we already have this version in the existing devices which are in the market. So to support the backward compatibility, you have to bang your head with both the teams, or on your desk. You can bang your head if you can't find a solution easily. But yeah, this comes as a challenge all the time when we are managing the backward compatibility in presence of so many hardware capability device categories. So it becomes very interesting for backward compatibility, and having a same spec protocol for all those hardware categories. That is itself a challenge. It brings many interesting situations, and we have just started. So we are in the second version of IoT core protocol, FM IoT core protocol. So more to go, more to see, aligning our efforts, both of multiple implementations, and also the backward compatibility. So more to come. Multiple devices is also a scenario. Performance with respect to scalability, like having hundreds of devices, that is also coming up. So we have many challenges, and the backend compatibility looks like a nice thing for us to keep us, engaged, entertained.
I can
Lots of
imagine.
stories we'll have to share next time.
Cool, thank you. That was really nice. Yeah, thank you all already for the insights for today, for the IoT testing world. So I'm looking forward to learn more from you guys, maybe on social media. Is there any social media account or where my viewers can maybe get in contact with you or can ask you some questions? I will also share the information later on in the video description, but you can also mention that now if you like to.
Yeah, Rahul can.
So I have a blog, testingtidbits.com. So I mean, through this, they can reach out to me, certainly.
Cool.
And I'll share the links to our LinkedIn accounts so that if anybody wants to reach out to us one-to-one or anything.
Perfect. Thank you.
Maybe it could be a mutual learning too. I mean, we can just share experience.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your time today. It was really nice talking to you, and hope to see you at some conferences maybe in the future now that we have a more calm pandemic situation, so we can travel again and meet somewhere on a conference. Thank you very much for your time, and goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for having us. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed the interview today with Rahul and Vijay. I really liked it. I have now a better view on the IoT world and what are the challenges to cope with. If you like this, leave me a thumbs up and leave a subscription to support me. And have a great day. Bye-bye.